I got a comment in one of my videos asking to do a intrinsic value analysis of Visa stock. So Visa is currently trading at $199, which is down 10% year to date at the time of this recording. So is Visa a buy now? Is it below its intrinsic value? That is what we're going to find out in this video. But before we begin, don't forget to check out the pin comment down below to get your 5 free stocks at Moo Brokerage. And again, it is very simple to use. You can stock trade, you can do options trade, and again, 0% commission. And you might as well just sign up, deposit, I think it's like $100, get your 5 free stocks, and then go sell those stocks. It's basically free money. So make sure you check out pin comment down below. So if you're brand new to intrinsic value and all these kind of good things that we're talking about today, is intrinsic value is basically if the value of a company if it sold all of its assets. And there are many different valuation methods to come up with intrinsic values. There's earnings valuation model, which we'll be using in this video. Or there's, free cash flow models again, which are a little bit more complicated, but there are free calculators online to kind of work this out. But essentially what we're trying to do is trying to work out what this blue line is. So it's the intrinsic value of a company, and Mr. Market, as Warren Buffett likes to call it, will sometimes take the market up, take it down into underpriced territories, and sometimes get it into overpriced territories and then bring it back down. But ultimately there are points in this cycle where we're trying to find out where the current price is below the intrinsic value for us to start buying or accumulating a position in said company. So what we're going to be doing to work out this kind of intrinsic value is using the OGT intrinsic value indicator. So this is an indicator that I've created, and again, it's absolutely free. Link is down below to get access to TradingView. All you need to do is head over to the indicators section, type in OGT, and if you scroll down, you'll see in the community scripts, you'll see all the scripts that I've got. I've got videos for all of these indicators, which I'll link to down below and in the top right hand corner. So once you put it in, and again, it's kind of already kind of set up already with the format and that I'm going to do, but effectively you get 3 lines here. So you put in a low assumption, a medium assumption, and a high assumption. And these lines are effectively this blue line based on the inputs that you put in, projected over the next 5 years. And then you've also got a table form so you can visually see what these kind of stock prices are at these various points in time. So to use this indicator, when you go into the settings, there are 3 main key inputs that you need to put in. The first is understanding is what is the earnings annual growth over the next 5 years. So what we need to understand is what the current earnings growth of Visa, for example, what is the growth over the next 5 years going to be? And one of the quick and dirty ways of kind of doing this is using analyst estimates. And where you can find that is if you head over to Yahoo Finance, type in the ticker symbol, so in this case V for Visa, and you head over to the analysis section. And if you scroll right down to the bottom, what it does, it gives you growth estimates per annum over the next 5 years. So you can see here, analysts are saying that we are looking at 18.14% annualized earnings growth over the next 5 years. Now, I like to use that as my high assumption, right? I don't necessarily agree with analysts that they understand a company and can value it properly, but so that's why my best case scenario, I like to use an analyst estimate. And then I just go down again. I've kind of just chosen these figures based on, gut feel of Visa and how it's trended in the past of 14% and 10%. Again, these are my numbers. Again, when you guys play around with this, you guys can get your own numbers. We'll do the annual return last. The next piece is understanding is what is the growth rate or the price to earnings ratio in year 5. So what this calculation does is if you take this table, for example, if you take the 18.14%, it takes the year 1 earnings and compounds it by 18.14% all the way out to year 5. And then what we do is that we give it a growth multiple or a PE ratio multiple of what it will be trading at in year five. And this is very subjective, and it can, depending on how bullish or growth you are in terms of a stock. What I like to do is head over to Y charts, and so if you Google Y charts, historic PE Visa, right, you'll end up at this page over here. And what this does is, for free, you can see up to 5 years worth of data of where the PE ratio of Visa has currently been trading. And then if you look at here, it basically shows you the minimum, the maximum, the median over the term, and then the industry average. Now, one thing about the industry average you got to look at is, if you look at, PE ratio benchmarks, okay, MasterCard, they're in the same business. PayPal as well, they are a payment provider company, but they offer other services, things like Visa and MasterCard don't. Then you've got banks in here. Visa is not a bank. So using the sector average can kind of skew things around because there aren't like for like companies. So again, one thing you can do is look at, MasterCard's currently trading at 34 PE and the current is 31. So what I like to do is, again, the higher the number, the higher the intrinsic value. So I want to try to be as conservative as I possibly can, which will help me if I've got my growth rates wrong or anything along those lines. So I firstly look at the minimum. The minimum was 24.77, which was during the kind of pandemic. And what I then also like to look at is what was the past 5 years. So the past 5 years was 21.93%. So the growth over the next 10 years is lower. So the PE that you select, if you take, the medium of 36, we know it has to be lower than 36. But I want to be super conservative here. And I'm going to use around the minimum mark of 24. Right, so I don't know how much lower it needs to be for the said growth rate of 18.24%, but I'm going to go around. I can't remember what I put in. I put around 23.25 in there, which is lower than the pandemic lows for the next 5 years. And then I've just incrementally gone down by around 3 for the medium and low assumptions. And then lastly, your annual returns. The annual return is once it calculates your year five value. So the intrinsic value of Visa in year five should be, $281. It then discounts back your rate of return to work out what price you should be paying today based on your rate of return. So the higher the rate of return, the lower the intrinsic value. And I like to use 12.5% as a base, mainly down to I can get 10% investing, over the long term in the S&P 500. So for me to go and risk going into Visa, I want a bit more for my money, and 12.5% is what I like to play. So when you look at that, this is what it computates. So if you look at today's price, it's sitting at $199. If you believe analyst estimates and my growth PE rate of 23, I think it was 23.25, the fair value or intrinsic value of Visa is 175, and my medium assumption is 131. So I think it's probably somewhere in between, right? So if it was me to be conservative, I'll be looking at around the 160 mark to start buying shares. If you're dollar cost averaging in and you want to buy, X amount of shares every single week, month, or year, then you might want to start at 175. But because I like to trade options and I like to collect 100 shares of a stock, I would then start looking to sell puts on Visa probably a month out at around the 160, 155, because it's still got a long way to go to get there. So I might as well make some money while I'm waiting for the stock to drop. And if the stock doesn't drop, and let's say this was the low over here and it continued to go up, I've made some money trading this stock at a value that I'm wanting to buy the shares at. So that's my view on Visa. Hope you like that. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, again, comment down your tickers below. We've got some other videos on some stock analysis I've done utilizing the same technique. And don't forget to download the OGT Intrinsic Value Indicator. And I shall see you guys in the next video.